And I'm sure it becomes more and more familiar. What's the start to this one like for you?
Yeah, I thought there was really good intensity out there. I think Coach pushed us and got some conditioning in, and all in all, a good first day.
For you last year, for the team last year, really successful on an individual and a group basis. When you have a season like that, what's the mentality through the summer in preparation for a brand new year?
Well, I think as a group we just have to be hungry. I think we have to push forward and know how hard we have to work to get off to a good start again. So, we know the bar has been raised, and you're not going to surprise anybody. So we have to make sure that we're extra ready and really get the most out of camp. Camps are short these days, and you get into exhibition games on Monday, so the practices become at a premium.
Lindy mentioned that immediately the focus becomes Monday night and getting into a game. You guys started preparing for that, at least mentally, the last few weeks as you start to hit the ice again?
Yeah, you try to ramp up your skates a little earlier maybe now. It's a different year with the World Cup and camp being pushed back and getting ready into an exhibition game. It's going to be different for all of us, so it's probably not the ideal way to start things, but it is what it is, and gives the coaches less time to kind of get us up to speed. But I think, for the most part, guys come into camp ready, come into camp with skating a lot. We've been skating 5 days a week for a few weeks in town anyways, so it's nothing like the intensity that's out there, but you do ramp things up a little bit earlier.
We had a chance to talk with Yuri Hudler and Dan Hamuse earlier. They both mentioned that the reputation that the Stars organization, the locker room have, why they wanted to come to Dallas. You were in a similar situation a couple years ago. What is it about this room that is so infectious and so welcoming to new faces?
Well, I think we're just trying to build a good culture around here. I think we're trying to establish ourselves as a good, hardworking team and a team that can compete. And when you have good people, it makes it easy to bring people into the room and have them be accepted. So, we're just trying to create a good culture around here where we give ourselves a chance every year.
Have you lost some weight?
A little bit.
A lot of it?
A little bit.
Why would you do that? The game's getting fast?
Just trying to get better, yeah.
I mean, it seems like the game is trending towards a much faster game.
Yeah.
Is that the thinking process? Or
No, it's a thinking process, yeah. Just trying to adapt and get better.
You're not getting younger, Jason.
Exactly. But I might be getting better.
Does it, is there something in it that you think will help you in your game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you just try to adapt with the times, and the game's going in a certain direction. And I think you don't want to get left behind. You want to kind of be on the front end of things. And I think I got a lot of good productive years ahead of me. So just try to make changes, just like everybody else does as the game goes along.
As we look at Team North America, a lot of people are excited by that type of game. You guys are a pretty good example at the NHL level. Is that where the game is headed right now?
I think it's always going to be a bit of a mix. I think coaches are always going to lean towards the defensive side, but I think speed has become a big part of the game. I think we're a team that's focused a lot more on defense now, and even though we score so many goals, it seems like most of the dialogue is around playing defense. So I think you'll always see defense be the priority for a lot of teams, but there's no doubt you have to be able to get up and go. You got to be able to get up and down the ice, and shifts are now 30 seconds where they used to be 45, 50, and everybody's minutes are a little bit less, and the game's just gotten quicker. So you put a premium on recovery, and going through a grind of an 82-game season, you kind of try to prepare yourself through the summer for that. And being a World Cup year, it's going to be even tougher to recover for games, and you can have less practice time. So it's almost the thought goes into it in September, and instead usually you start thinking about that stuff come January. So November is probably as hard a schedule as you'll see. So I think that all goes into consideration this summer.
How important is it to keep the speed going with the transition of the defensemen? I think 3 guys will be changed back there, and a lot of what you guys do is defenseman to forward passing, and that's what creates a speed.
Well, I think that's where camp and preseason and is going to be big for us. We have, when you add new D-men, those little bump passes and the stuff that becomes second nature as you go on as a group. Are things we're going to have to work on here. And already, day one, he's got us working on breakout drills, and that's communication between the centerman and the D-man a lot of times, and the D to each other and the D to the goalie. So I think by adding some of the younger legs on defense, it'll make us a more mobile team, but also there could be some work to be done with some of the breakouts, some of the stuff that we've been good at in the past.
Talk about hitting the ground running. When you look back at your entire career, training camps different nowadays than they were when you first started?
Yeah, well, camp's 3 days now. It used to be 3 weeks, and used to go home for lunch and come back and put your gear back on. So they've changed quite a bit. I'd say there's not a guy in this camp that hasn't been skating for minimum a month, maybe longer, whereas you used to see some older guys come into camp and had been skating for a week or 2 weeks. So it's taken a whole different, turn kind of on how it's been. But, by getting right into games, you have to skate in the summer. I skate as much now as what I did when I was younger, whereas you always heard about older guys skating less and saving their legs, but if anything, it might be the opposite now. You got to keep skating to make sure you're ready for camp.
That's where the way went.
Yeah, exactly. So
when did that transition kind of start? Is it something you started to see 4 or 5 years ago, longer? When did you kind of start to see that transition?
Well, I think after the lockout, when they shortened training camps, then you start seeing the transition. The first lockout I went through, there was changes after that. And then this next lockout, the camp's even gotten shorter. And now we're in a World Cup year where it's even gotten shorter. So the onus becomes on the player to get themselves ready, maybe more when the coach used to have more say in how ready his team was because he had 3 weeks to get them ready. Where now it's important to have a mature group that gets themselves ready so that when you get up and rolling, you're ready to go.
It's all the players' fault.
That's it.
You want something.